E72.
What?
Honest. It's the one after last time.
That's the right number as well, because I checked also.
Yeah, I just checked beforehand as well. I was like, I can't hear, but is it actually the thing? Is it actually a thing? We're very excited to talk to you today because things have been really good and just stuff happened.
There's a lot of stuff this time,
yeah.
I think, innit? I mean...
People have been listening and going like, oh, they got 3 copies of Dark Souls Remastered. That's what they're talking about, but no.
Yeah, let's tell you straight away, did we eck?
No. You were so far from the truth.
Yes.
So far. But yeah, we've come back with a bit more of that there, Dark Souls news chat and that.
Ooh.
We'll say, because obviously I've been trying to smish all the stuff together into a wonderful cake of news and stuff. And I had a rather lovely message from your friend Jeremy Greer.
I know him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call him a friend.
Well, obviously. I know, I was just leading you into that cul-de-sac of nastiness.
Not the last time.
But let's move on from that. So, yeah, Jeremy Greer said he wasn't aware of a lot of the stuff that we covered in the last step. And
to be fair, neither was I.
Well, yeah, it's one of those reacts channels, but one of them is my mate here, and he's just like, has that really happened?
No.
So yeah, but Jeremy was quite complimentary of the last episode in particular, so it was very nice. Thank you.
As he should be, because I am thoroughly trouncing him in Dick Week so far. As of time of recording, we're up to episode 5 of Dick Week that has gone live. Episode 6 is going up later this evening, so you know what day we recorded this on. And I believe...
Shut your beautiful mouth.
I am 3-2 up.
Well, there we go.
3-2 up.
Let's ruin my notes for later.
We'll get back to it. It's fine. We'll come back there.
Yeah, fine.
You can't bring up Jeremy and not expect me to lord it over him.
We'll see.
Well,
I did vote for him in your Twitter polls.
Yeah,
by the way.
like everyone else voting, and who so far have all voted wrong.
And then when I noticed that things had maybe evened themselves up, and you were just like, "Oh, this looks about right now," I was like, "Right, have I voted on this one?" No,
that's what Jeremy did.
So, over egging the pudding.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you're doing all right then, lad?
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I've had a good Souls time the last few days. It's been a good Souls time, hasn't it? I think what prompted this was our good Souls time.
Yes, it was, and we will reveal that. We'll reveal it. But first, Dark Souls Remastered, the network test, kicked in early on PS4.
It did. It just sort of started, didn't it?
Yeah, and I was like messaging you, sort of going, "It's on, it's on." You were like, "Oh God, I've gone to the shops."
Yeah, I had some stuff to get. I was like, "I'm out. I'll be out."
Yeah. Yeah, I read it in that voice. So yeah, that early start on PS4. So it was about lunchtime here, where it was about 5 hours early. I had a few stumbles along the way. It came offline the odd time or so, and then from where I was watching Latovsky's stream, and he was going on to From's Japanese Twitter.
Okay.
Translating it, and we were trying to figure out sort of what was happening and when they were coming back and stuff. That was a really good stream as well. I enjoyed that. It was a good laugh. But yeah, From were obviously, I don't know if they went on early to maybe let word of mouth happen a little bit, and so everybody wasn't just jumping on in one giant dollop at once, and they had sort of at least a few people coming through the gate at a time beforehand. And
to be fair, the time it went up, it was a pretty, most people are going to be at work time, wasn't it? Anyway, like midday on a Friday.
Yeah.
Any other day, I'd have been at work. So
yeah.
I'm glad they turned it on when they did. Yeah.
Yeah. May have arranged that just so that I could be off. But anyway, so I gave you the signal and you eventually came home. I had a bit of a monkey about beforehand. Number of classes available at the start, which apparently mirrored the E3 presentation from 2011 or something like that. Yeah. I remember Mike McWhirter article on Kotaku about it back in the day. When he sort of had the preview. But anyway, there was a few classes there. There was Soldier, Knight, Pyromancer, Witch, Solaire.
Best class.
and Black Knight.
And you by you monkeying about early, you were able to give me a few hints as to what they were, because I would have just picked blindly and been unable to do some things. I thank you for that.
I tried not to spoil any of the discovery though. For the
not at all. It was just nice. It was just nice to have a couple of little just points. It's like, well, this is this. This is this. Pick now. Like, oh, okay, I get that. It was kind of like a little guide.
Certain classes had access to, because I was going through them at various points before it went offline again. It seems certain classes had access to White Sign Soapstones, but I don't know if that was maybe because I jumped onto one when they'd removed kind of an offline option or something, when they were just trying to collate data. I don't know. But there was one that didn't have it. But no. Solaire and Black Knight had stars around their names, denoting they were a bit OP. So Solaire had a +1 Sunlight Blade, Lightning Spear amongst his lot. The Black Knight had the Black Knight Sword, the ability to invade.
And the entire Black Knight armour as well set.
Hence fat rolling.
Yeah.
So most of the Black Knights I did see in the game, though, were just wearing the helmet, the codpiece, and two-handing the sword. The demo had Undead Parish cordoned off, with access blocked to the Dragon Bridge, Andre, and Undead Berg's Bomph. You were allowed to fight beyond the gargoyles, with the demo ending when you rang the Bell of Awakening. So that was the stuff that I sort of filled you in on.
Yeah.
More than anything.
When you do that, the game's over. It's like, okay, cool, that's all I need to know.
When I rang the bell, because I just thought it was going to kind of send me back to the bonfire and I could keep...
Have another go.
Levelling and having another pot, but no, it was just like, no, bye. At first I was really surprised how nice it looked. That was my first takeaway from having a go. It seemed lovely and crisp on the telly, with swaying grass and ivy. At that time I thought it was a bit of a looker. Closer gorps, like moving the cameras up to the character's face, showed off a few of the rough edges, but it was fine. Lighting engine wasn't as bad as I expected, and if anything I rather loved the way it went all sheen or shimmer on Night Shield when I picked it up. That was rather bewitching.
Oh yeah.
Put that on my back just so I could see the
Put it on your back and do small circles.
It was lovely. I will say the caveat on this is when I tried it later on Xbox One X, and everything looked really muddy, muted, and dull, like compared to the PS4 Pro version.
Odd.
Which was quite crisp and colourful. I don't understand it at all. I was just looking, because the PS3 version of the original was much more colourful than the 360 one, which was quite muddy in comparison. But this looked really muted compared to the PS4 Pro.
Okay, I've not seen any comparative. I never do that anyway, so I wouldn't have. But I never usually see any sort of comparative video. But I mean, having very recently been playing Dark Souls 1 through a component lead of all things, which is not the sharpest of connections. Yeah, like it's sort of night and day almost. It's like, wow, this is really beautiful. This is sharp, it's crisp, all the textures look really nice. The grass waving is very pretty. Going in and looking at the shields in fine detail, that was quite fun. And sort of doing that thing where you kind of manipulate the camera against the wall and kind of mush it up and down so you can have a look at your character. Like, that was neat.
That was when it showed off a few of the weaknesses. It looked all right from a distance, and then when you got close and you saw
I definitely saw a tan line on, I think it was the Solaire character's neck. Like, there was a very obvious join where the head was attached.
Do you know what was really weird though? Like the faces looked pretty rubbish, to be fair. But then you're looking up at this sort of stupid spongy moon face, and then your eye just glimpses down, and it seems like 4K textures in the hair on the chest.
Yeah.
4K nipples.
Oh, they were delicious, weren't they?
Yeah.
You could see the veins in the arms.
I know. It was so that was a little bit weird. Was there anything else in particular that you noticed with the look of the thing?
Visuals? Okay. The blood splats are quite big. Like,
Yeah.
Very big. Like, bigger than I remember, maybe? I don't know, they felt massive.
And very glowy.
Yeah. Like,
very glowy.
An explosion of blood. Like, and maybe it was that big. Maybe it was just me seeing it in high def and being like, oh, that's unusual.
A never-ending river of radiant jam.
If only I had a series of videos I could look at to see what it was actually like.
We can all dream.
We can all dream. So that was it. That was weird, but fine, I thought. What else did I like?
What did you think to the new bonfire flame?
It's the fire, isn't it? I don't think it's got the same, like, that sort of curly-whirliness that the original one had.
Yeah, there's something quite ethereal and magical about the original one. This one is just some fire.
Yeah, the original had like a twist to it that was very much like the coiled sword that's in the fire. And maybe that was a limitation of the tech at the time. Like, that's just the best fire they could make. But
it looks... No.
But it works. No, it fits. Like, it's got that weird sort of magic curl to it, whereas this is just a fire. And I don't want to be one of those boring knobheads that's like, oh, the fire looks a bit different and it's rubbish, but it didn't look as good.
I've been saying that to you, and all that time you've been judging me.
I have, yeah, secretly judging. Well, I remember seeing people complain about it when the first shots of Remaster went up and all the YouTubers got it about 2 months ago, and just thinking, oh, you boring bastards, is that all you're going to look at? It's like how the fire looks. Oh, I'm going to look at how detailed everything is and complain. Ooh.
No, but it is.
It's not as interesting. In fairness, it ain't as good. I'm not going to lose sleep, but it's not as good.
I think you can raise the same point at the fog doors.
Oh, they're
compared to, should we say, the curtain of gentlemen?
there is a very firmness to that fog wall. I don't like it.
A few people have sort of likened it to the fog in the HD version of Silent Hill 2 and 3 that was in there. And it's certainly, they've done fog doors since, which look better than that. Again, it's not a deal breaker, but it's just a bit jizzy, isn't it?
A bit solid, and a bit like we've HD'd it, but we haven't adjusted the quality of it to match the rest of the game. Like, they've just literally upscaled the resolution, and it doesn't work anymore.
No, but I don't think that's it at all.
But that's the effect that I think I could liken it to. Like, they've just upped all the resolutions, and it's worked on some stuff, but not on everything. And I think the doors are a thing. Like, the fog, like you say, is very sort of PS3 remaster of Silent Hill 2 and 3. Like, it doesn't look right. Like, it doesn't feel smoky. It's just like a wall of, like, gentlemen.
A curtain of gentlemen.
A frozen wall of gentlemen.
Let's move on.
Samples.
Thought the magic looked nice.
Yeah, I was alright with that.
Yeah, magic looked really nice. Not just the kind of the that came off the magic wand type things, but also when you saw the channeler, that looked lovely.
Oh, the glowing blue was really good.
The way that he lit up the room.
Yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that muchly, and like, you could see it from a mile away, like, oh no, he's doing a spell. Why? Because the entire room over there is blue, look.
Yeah, it looked really good, and also the sort of little sort of swirly sparks that were coming off the just the numpties that you were sending after you looked really good. That had a really ethereal quality to it, which I really liked. Like the way that the blue sort of swirled around them. And I think there's that sort of slow swirl around the souls as well. Like, the stuff that you're picking up to.
Oh,
so
I didn't really have a proper look. Yeah, I didn't have a proper look at that. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes.
So, let me see. There was that. Do you remember when we were playing? The channeler he followed us right the way down to the ground.
He did, yeah.
The ground floor, which I don't remember him doing before. Also, he did a really weird jump.
Oh, yeah. He sort of did like a back step away jump, but the sort of direction it went, he got about a week of hang time.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit. We needed sort of doves flying in the distance and John Woo on a camera. But yeah, it was really sort of strange.
Lawrence Fishburne in the background saying he's beginning to believe.
Yes, it was a very weird. So we had a nice little sort of twat about with it until things
I
went offline
like,
again.
and I let's be fair here. I don't think I was the same guy that I've been since One Bro. Should we touch on this? Like my ability has gone just in the straight garbage. If it's not a reinforced club, it seems like I can't use it.
There was that point where the channeler was casting his blueness, and there were all those little guys running at you, and I was like, "Why don't you come down here? There's loads." And you were like, "No, I'm fine." It was just like Smonch. Oh no.
Well, I was trying to do fire, and then I looked around, and you were like 10 yards away down the corridor. Like, oh, you were over there.
I was the other end of the corridor.
Yeah, you've gone.
Doing a me thing, being cautious and distant.
Yeah, standing over there.
Over there.
The classic setup of I stand in the middle and you throw things from a distance. Like, that's how it usually works. And I found that, like, I enjoyed, like, the way the combat felt still. Like, it's still obviously Dark Souls. But yeah, I'd lost all ability. Like, I'm so used to that reinforced club now. I'm having problems using anything else.
How did it feel going from being successful to being crap?
Really upsetting. Especially, like, in the first area. I've beaten fucking Manus at level 1, and I was having problems with that hallway full of idiot hollows. Like, come on.
But it was quite weird, because we have sort of gotten used to weapons in previous runs of the games, like the club and using the bunny smash and all that sort of stuff. And I noticed that the more that I played the different classes, I was hampered by the sort of moves that they make. But it did give me more of a taste of I want to really do things differently the next time that I play it, like really differently.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, I mean, we talked about this a bit later, but like doing a different run is a way of making the game fresh again, isn't it? Like this time I'm going to do a magic run, or this time I'm going to use a great big spear. Like, just pick something we've never used and try that instead. I mean, I was enjoying the hand axe when I was using I think Pyromancer was the class I used, wasn't it? It was fine, but I just I wasn't quite feeling it. Like, it wasn't there for me. I think I had a bit of better success later on with the Solaire sword thing. That was fine, but again. Basic boring sword, innit? I don't just want to do a sword. I always do a sword run. Like, let's do something fun, like a hammer or a big club or a bow.
I think the strange thing was, like, when I went back after people had been on for a while and sort of successfully twatting about with it massively. I started up with a new character. I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I've played like the knight yet. So I sort of started that up, and literally I was on screen about 3 seconds, and somebody invaded as a black knight and twatted me with one shot, and that was pretty much it on the times that I was having afterwards. I just I was trying to get a feel for another character, and somebody came in with because it was only black knights that could invade. So I was like, I think I've done with this now successfully. Like, yeah, I won't be playing the rest of your network test.
Yeah, I think I got enough from the time we played was pretty much the only times I was on, and I got enough, like, because I mean we talked about this later as well, but I think it's important to touch on now. Like, I don't play Dark Souls for the PvP at all. Like, I don't play it for that. I play it to fight, like, to beat the game. I play it to have some co-op fun with you or with Jeremy or whoever's about. Like, I like to run around and do some co-op, or even with randos as well. Like, drop your sign down for a while and just have fun helping people beat bosses. I don't get a lot of enjoyment out of being Captain YouTube PvP. And I know that there's a massive community of people who have made their YouTube living from that, and that's fine. Like, that's their thing, and if anything, I think this network test was more for them, because we went through, we beat the gargoyles, and that was enough for me, and I was like, yep, that's fine. I know I like this is fine. I know this, I've done all I can do. I don't enjoy, like, I don't mind being invaded during the game. Like, every now and again you turn out like, oh shit, it's on, like it's a secret mini boss, it's like, oh no, it's happening again. But for that to be the only thing, like, oh, it's invasion, oh, another invasion, oh, and you've been backstabbed and chain backstabbed and backstabbed and backstabbed again and hit from across the room in the back from the front. Like, it was just, every time I watched, because I didn't really get invaded ever, like, I kind of just did my time with you and we called it quits. I watched some videos later, a couple of YouTube people. There's one whose YouTube name is Ymfah, which is Ymfah, and it's been putting together, like, how to be OP and Soul Level 1, Dark Souls 1, like with like guides on what stuff to get and got things to pick up, and he's done quite a few of the games, and like how to break Dark Souls 2 on PC with 5 minutes, and it's been quite informative. And he put a video together of basically a bunch of streamers and a bunch of YouTube people just finding the things that were still a bit rubbish, and like, oh, chain backstabs still work, oh yep, they still work, they still work, and then just doing them over and over and over again. And it's like, that to me, that doesn't look fun. Like, if I have a PvP fight with someone, I want it to be a fight. Like, one-on-one, honour rules generally, and have a nice little scrap with someone. I don't want it to turn into a lag stab backstab fest with people backstabbing me from the front.
I think the differential here is that there are folks that will keep playing like the network test to do as much as possible and find as much as possible. I would have been one of those people if there wasn't such a differential in the ability to invade. Like, if everybody had got the ability to invade people's games and to be summoned into people's games, I think you'd have had some more honest builds, more regular builds that were actually having a fairly decent scrap and giving a good account of what the PvP can be. And I don't think that, because whilst the stuff that I played, and I completed the up to the Bell of Awakening with Pyromancer, and I really enjoyed it. But I think I'd have continued to play if, I don't know, just those different builds could have a good little scrap with some decent weapons, and it wasn't just the Black Knight.
Yeah, it was a bit one-sided, wasn't it?
In their pants, two-handing a sword that could destroy you from... And, you've got to... The other side of that is that you'll have people that are coming to this network test that have never played Dark Souls before. And I think that those two overpowered classes will show them the extremes of what can be done. Certainly, I think that's a good idea. Or this is how you can own the game if you want to. But I wonder how many of those folks will have gotten a measure of, well, you have to. There's a starting point that's going to be much more difficult for you when the game boots in.
Yeah. I agree. So, I think if someone hasn't played it and this was their taster, would you enjoy just getting invaded by the same guy over and over and over again?
I think if people played it at the same time as you and I did, where there was that slow drip feed of people coming in from looking at the data and then it coming back on again, I think that people would have got a decent idea of it. But unless people were going through the game sort of hollowed, I don't know. It's a strange one to try and measure in that regard as to how it would have appealed to first time players.
I'd agree. Yeah, I'd definitely agree.
So we had fun.
Yeah,
it's the first time that we properly had chance to smash out,
play a game together,
some stuff.
Yeah,
I'd probably say since Warframe.
I'd agree
in this degree.
Yeah, definitely. We had a bit of Monster Hunter, didn't we? But really, it was.
Yeah, I mean, but Warframe. I was always hoping that our Monster Hunter experience was going to be like our Warframe experience because we just got together loads on Warframe.
Oh, we did, yeah. It's almost every night, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So we fancied playing something else after this. We were like, right, you're off, I'm off. Let's see what we've got.
Yeah, because let's be fair, we were playing outside of our allotted network slot, wasn't it? Our slot was 5 PM till 11 PM, wasn't it? And this was at 2:30 in the afternoon. It's like, well,
yeah, we were good at that point. We were set.
It's like, I kind of want to play something else now. I want to keep playing. This is good.
So I was like, have you got Warframe installed? And you didn't have it installed at that point.
I needed space for the God of War. Yeah.
You'd had your fill of Monster Hunter, and I'd kind of sort of drifted from that. And then you said...
I said, what about Scholar?
Yeah. How long does Scholar take to install? And I was like, what? And then I was like, no time at all. I installed it recently, and it was like, oh, it's done. And then you were like, oh yeah, and sort of. Then I was just super garbled. I was like, I put it on recently, see where we'd ended up, and it was Electric Ponyland. And you were all, I did Electric Ponyland. I was like, I have a character in Forest of the Fallen Giants. And you were like, I have a character in Forest of the Fallen Giants. And we were at similar levels, so we booted up Scholar of the First Sin, and we had so much fun.
It was probably one of the best co-op afternoons / sessions we've had in a long time. Like, it was doofy, silly fun. And you're right, by the way, the install time is like 8 seconds. It's like, go.
You're good. But it's not only sort of that day, we followed it up with like multiple sessions afterwards, and it's been so much fun. So much fun. To the point where we were on it on that Friday, and we cracked through a couple of different sessions on Friday. We played a bit.
While the remaster network test was running, let's not skip over that. Like, the network test is running, we're like, nah, mate, Scholar.
If anybody is in any doubt as to whether I am now in command of your reality,
it happened again.
I've hacked it. My data harvesting has come back.
Oh God, what's this in my cup? It's coffee. Oh, it's good. Oh.
So we had 2 sessions on that Friday. We played a bit, and then we had a bit of dinner, and then we played a bit more.
Yep.
And I had to go around about. I'm sure I delayed it a little bit.
About 9:30, wasn't it?
Because I was up at 4 the next morning. But the next day, I was still like grinning because of it. Although I think you'd had the opposite reaction because you were on your own.
Yeah, I was at the point. I was like, I want to do a bit more, but I don't want to do too much because I'll get ahead. So I basically just ran around, tagged a few fires, like got far enough into a level to tag it, and then went back and kind of mopped up a couple of loose ends, like Esther shards and stuff. But yeah, generally, I kind of had to leave it a bit alone. I was like, oh, what do I fucking do now?
So in the opening session, we did the Pursuer twice. We had a brief tickle into Las Bastille. Did all there was to do ×2 in Hyde's Tower of Flame.
Yep.
And then we had the most tremendous time in Pirate Wonderland.
Oh, that was glorious.
It was so good.
And like, I kind of enjoyed, like, again, remembering how to play the video game was fun, because it controls a bit different, doesn't it, to Souls 1? Like, it does feel a little bit different. And I picked out my character whose name was Caravan. I don't know why. But they're about the same level, sort of near the start of the game after the last giant. It's like, well, that'll do. That sounds like a character I could use. Who appeared to be having dual cestices. It's like, well, I like that build, but let's try something different. So I think it was you that suggested, why not use the club? I was like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, I did suggest that. You're right, because you were like, oh, it's not anywhere in reach. And I was like, are you sure?
Just go.
Did I drop it for you?
I think I just went and bought it. I think you could just buy it from a shop. I'm sure you can.
Because I did drop something for you.
You gave me something, and I gave you something later as well. Maybe it was the club. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure I dropped the club for you.
Maybe it was.
Because I got 2 of them.
Oh, maybe it was then. But yeah, I loaded up a club and sort of changed like a sword and board, strong, heavy armour boy. And we just had a good time, didn't we? Just running around like Hyde, smashing up those big knights, and you with your little axe that was kind of plinking off them, and me with my big club that was just breaking their shins with every strike.
Yeah, I was trying to go sort of out of my comfort zone and not sort of use the club or like the fire sword and stuff. And a lot of it was sort of decision paralysis of, I don't know what to use, so I'll just carry on using this. And then I eventually just had fun with the swinging back and forthness of it.
I think once you found your rhythm, you were set, weren't you? Like, it took a little bit of time to get there. Once you found it, you were there.
But that's fun, like relearning an old favourite. I think that's given me a taste of what I'll then send back to the remaster when I start it, because I really do want to do stuff different, and that instinct continued as we went along. But I mean, in No Man's Wharf, we hit everything. We reunited with our mate Nigel,
Nigel. He's the greatest NPC in the game, like bar no one.
not true.
No, he's the best NPC in all of Souls. Nigel.
We named him Nigel. He's the enemy that holds a torch in No Man's Wharf, but doesn't attack and kind of follows you through the level.
It's heartbreaking when you go into other people's games because they kill him immediately. It's like, no, he is friend.
You can always tell when I've hit him because I go like...
It's like, what happened? You hit him, didn't you?
Yeah, sorry.
He does kind of stay close, doesn't he, sometimes? Almost too close.
So yeah, we reunited with Nigel. Bradders?
Bradley of the old guard.
Yes.
Good old
who's
Bradders.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He is fantastic.
He's got healing magic.
He's just so good, and a massive lance. It is a lance, isn't it?
Absolute lance. Size of that unit.
Yeah. Luke Teal was there as well. Beautiful Lukes. And we went and fought one of my favourite bosses in the entire game, the Flexile Sentry. It's not the toughest boss by any means, but it's just performance. It's theatre. It's spectacle. And I mean, the Blighter looks amazing. Sort of for those people that have avoided Scholar or haven't gone near it because of people saying untrue bad things. It's sort of two clockwork mechanised creatures with weapons in each of their hands, but they're back to back, tied at the waist. They're moving around like some sort of terrifying spider.
Yep.
Occasionally bending at the waist with the other side flinging over backwards in the same direction as the other weapons are. And if you can hear my hands cannoning off my headphones there, it's because I'm acting this out.
You did the thing, didn't you? Yeah.
I did. And it did a spinning attack I'm not sure I've ever seen before.
I don't think I've seen it. Can you describe what you called that spinning attack?
Yeah, it was like so it was me, you, Bradders and Luke's all trying to twat it. So there's four of us at the same time, and the Flexor was all like, "Can you all please fuck off?" It was just like a and we were all like,
all four of us go down at the same time.
We all like ping off the walls and stuff, and rather than us sort of going like, "Oh no," we were all like, "It's great, do it again."
It was really funny.
It was like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey where they fall down that massive hole. Like, oh, and then they get to the bottom and they smack the ground. They're like, again.
Yeah.
So last night we were back on it again. We had tons of fun in Los Bastille.
We had loads of fun in the Bastille, didn't we?
It was great. It was really great, and it made me realise what a brilliantly designed level that is,
and how much better it is in the Scholar version as well. How many times did we fight Percy the Pursuer? Like at least
3 times.
It was
3 times in the Bastille because he turns up. There's one that's on the ground floor not long after you go in with sort of the dogs and the people on the
catwalks
on the scaffolding. Yeah. There's another one where it's like a dark magic version of the Pursuer, where you just think that you're cleverly walking across the side of a building and then you're going to drop down. You go towards a chest, you lift that chest up, and all of a sudden in the background you hear like, and you're like, what?
Oh no!
What? And then there's a bit where
you're up on the side, aren't you? On the catwalks at the top.
You're really high up, and you would never imagine a big enemy would appear at that place, but he turns up.
And the arenas get smaller and smaller and smaller as well. It's like, oh fuck, oh no, he's right here, right now. What are we going to do? And
there is another one a little bit further on.
There is.
That we've got
it's
as well,
down, I think, on the way down to Belfry, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know I actually found another one later?
Okay.
I was doing some tidying up. I thought I'll go, get rid of some stuff because I kind of wanted to get some of the weird gear. So I thought I'm going to go back to Things Betwixt, kill the ogres, and get the Handmaid's Ladle. Yeah. So there's an area where you go down where the gender coffin is, and there's now two Cyclopses down there.
Okay.
Well, I killed one of them. Like I managed to tease him up the wall and sort of killed him by himself. And I hop down to the second one, and the Pursuer turns up.
Oh, that's awesome!
And I was like, oh no, oh, I'm not ready for this, oh no, because the Cyclops
really cool.
was storming towards me, and I could see the smoke, like, oh, I know that smoke, and he just stands up, and I just ran. I was like, fuck this.
That's really cool, because that's one of the things I really love about the Scholar of the First Sin, is it feels like the Pursuer is relentless across the entire game, because there's another one, or is there two in Drangleic Castle?
I think it's one, then two. Yeah, I think you can fight two of them in one room at one point.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But I love that. It's just that kind of relentless enemy it puts me in mind of sort of Resident Evil 2.
Definitely.
You know, the guy when you're playing it through on the second character and he drops down from the helicopter and like launches out of like a big missile casing, and he's like following through. Or I suppose.
Do you mean Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot?
No, the guy in like the massive long. It's huge and it's massive long dark coat, and you knock him down.
Oh, the Terminator monster. Yeah.
Yeah. And I suppose also the Nemesis as well.
Yeah.
Because the Nemesis is pretty much like a truck coming after you, like constantly.
That sprints at you as well. Like, oh fuck, oh no, he's here now, run. And I do like as well, like, I mean, from even our initial runner out, we ran around in the Forest of Fallen Giants a bit, didn't we? Because we had a couple of pursuers to kill there, didn't we, too? And like, it was like tough, but I think, did we pop him on the early attack, or did he get us?
We did on...
No, we didn't, because we beat... No, we didn't, because we had to fight him in the normal arena, didn't we?
Oh,
this is where I'm trying to go. Yeah, I'm trying to get us here.
Go for it.
Right, so when you fight the Pursuer in the normal area as a boss, second boss of the game, on top of the walkways in the Forest of the Fallen Giants, or wherever it is, there's the two catapults, or ballistae, down the end. And we decided to take up our usual tactic of, I will piss off the thing, and you shoot it from over there, which is our usual TwinHumanities system. So what we decided to do is, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to try and piss him off and keep him here. You run over, and you tell me when you're going to shoot so I can move out the way. This is how it went. Now, when I say the phrase thwomp, okay, it's going to be when an arrow hit, and when I say the thing now, that's when you said now. Okay, so here we go. I'm fighting the Pursuer. Clang, 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 clang. Thump, thump, thump. Now.
It was like I because you've got the of when it loads, and then it was like you press the button, then there's the delay, and I think I was saying now when I actually saw like the projectile coming out of the front of the thing.
No, they were 3 seconds buried into the wall at that point,
and then it just became like funnier because you were concentrating on the Pursuer. And I was like, lean him towards me. Yeah. You concentrate on the Pursuer and the Burke at the back, who was just like, now. Yeah.
It's like when you see people get hit with stuff, like hit a pie in the face, and then someone goes, duck, like a second later. And you're lucky. Not a single one of those arrows hit me, and I have no idea how, because there were some bloody close ones. Like, hair of a gnat's arsehole. Like, just whoosh, oh no. Like, you were lucky. And it took us a few attacks to get him, didn't it? We kept missing. Because he'd do that kind of like, I'm going to put my sword behind me and I'm going to skate towards you on my ice skates. Whoosh! And just out of the line of fire.
Part of the joy of the Pursuer fights was as the first time we went in, and then it was like, oh, this is really cool. Like the attract sequence where the Pursuer arrives. And then the second time we did it, I just heard you go, let's watch this again. This is great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. But
it's when his eyes light up and I hear in my head the new Kratos voice going, boy. Like, oh no.
But it was, I don't know, we were both admiring the design work as well, which I think stretched on to our entire playthrough of Scholar. Like, we were really looking at it going like, this is really beautiful. These designs are really good.
That's nice colours. Ooh, look at that. Like Hyde's Tower of Flame, when the oranges and the blues all mixed together in the sunset. It's really, really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, the game does get grief for its art style, and I don't get it. I really, really love it. And yes, I've fallen in love with the the design works since and stuff, but going back is almost been going back with fresh eyes on something that I already loved, and the fun that we were having and the stuff that we were noticing, and one of my favourite times that we've done anything with this show. It's been great.
Fully agree. Can we also talk about that thing you did in No Man's Wharf that you blame me for, that I still blame you for?
What did I do?
The chest incident.
Oh yeah.
So I'll tell my side, and then I'll let you tell your side, and let the listener decide who was wrong. So we were in the chest. You know the warehousey bit with the big long-legged monsters that someone I know ages ago called Spinnakers, and it's really good. Like the long-legged things that don't like fire. There's the little warehouse where you fight a load of them. They break the door down. You go up the top, and Gavlan used to live there. So you go up the top, and there's 2 chests, and we all know one's booby-trapped and one isn't. So up we go. Nigel was with us. So it was your game. So I was like, right, you go open the chest, and I'll bring Nigel back here out of the way. I said, if it's arrows, then make sure to roll or block, and if it's gas, then roll away.
No, you did
I can prove
no, that caveat has been inserted at the end.
Because I saved
I'll look
the clip,
after Nigel.
and I watched it before we recorded this, and that's what I said with my words. 100%. So I took Nigel to the back of the room, who was just diddling around doing Nigel stuff, as he does. You open the chest, and from the other side of the room, an arrow hits and kills Nigel. 1 arrow.
Who was looking after him, though?
I could only do so much. I was holding a torch. I couldn't block him.
Violet, I'm going to go into the shop to get that thing that we need, and some Parma violets and some lard. Oh, that's okay. I will look after our child. Oh, look, a man has dropped the Parma violets and a big shard of glass has gone out, killing our child that you were looking after while I was getting the Parma violets and the lard.
You dropped the Parma violets. That's the problem.
No.
You opened that chest and you shot him from, like, let's be real here, a really long way away. Like, it was a good shot. Like, if you tried to do that, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Let's just say you did make up for this by dropping the ghost dagger that you got from one of those pointy-nosed assassins. So I do fancy giving that a bit of poison. I've got some lightning on my axe at this point. Now, when I looked up the poison stuff to see where the poison stones are, it did say, and I had no idea about this, and this may affect my game going forward as we go, about poison, recommended to infuse it into weapons which have a heavy attack is equal to hitting the target 3 times.
What?
Such as Chandler's Trident and Pickaxe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Never. Yeah, that was my reaction. So I've never thought of. Pickaxe is. I think I could get on with that, but I'm sure it takes a few hits for somebody to get poisoned anyway. So if it's the equivalent of hitting them 3 times. That's good.
I remember when I had my Scholar Fist character, I had 2 cesticides, 2 poison ones, and I remember like having to hit people a good 5 or 6 times with them, like bang, bang, bam, 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 to get the poison to proc. So it took a few goes, but if you can hit 1 attack that does 3 poison procs, that's crazy.
I think it's just the heavy attack, but still, that's pretty cool. I wonder what other weapons it ties into, but I quite like that idea. But I was messing about earlier on today with the ghost dagger, and on the big sort of turtle lads, and it is great for kind of getting in there like and like jumping out again. And even when I was invaded in Forest of the Fallen Giants on one of the far areas, and that again was nice to kind of get in and get out before the enemy managed to do what they normally do. Can we say as well, loads of people playing this game. Loads.
It was bonkers. We had to use the ring, the name engraved ring, because we kept getting summoned to other people's worlds by accident.
Yeah. And let's face it, on this first bit, we were playing when the network test was on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I think you've got me. Wait, who's Jamang895? Like, who dis?
So I am still doing like archery stuff. That's my one carry through from our other games, which makes for our playstyle, which was super effective in Lost Bastille, where I was being the antagonist from distance, and you were being right there in the face, right there in your face. Oh, you're dead.
I have a large shield and a big stick, and I will use them to keep you busy while you get shot from 8 miles away. It worked, didn't it, though? The fucking thing. It worked like a treat.
So we were reveling in how pretty the game looked. And it's doing what it's doing at 60 frames per second. And obviously we were coming off the remaster as well, where people seem to be sort of quite upset that the game isn't doing more visually. And I don't know, I've just got a new appreciation for it, but also I know that Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 sacrificed the 60 frames per second for sort of smoke and other stuff, but I don't know, it just felt really responsive and it looked really crisp and lovely.
I'd agree. I think, like we alluded to when we were chatting, like I think that Souls 3 and Bloodborne, I think because they were developing for the next gen, I think they really had to decide, like, you know, do we go on frame rate or do we make graphical fidelity the more important thing? And I think they both chose right. I think Bloodborne feels good at 30. I don't know if I like it as much at 60. It's got a sort of movie-ish look to it almost. But I do enjoy the smoothness of Scholar and Remaster. Like, just seeing them going buttery smooth, like it's just nice to look at. But I mean, it's different strokes, different folks, isn't it? I've never been a frame rate carer or a resolution carer usually. So, like, usually remasters of things don't do an awful lot for me. It's like, oh, it's just the same, but now it's a bit sharper. Cool. But I think good design always shines through, and I think Scholars, and even, you know, Remaster, what we saw of that, you know, just, the levels just look really good. Like, everything's designed really well. Like, it's an obvious thought given to where things are and what things look like, and the colours and the shapes and the enemy placements and stuff. Like, it's just well designed, and the levels are just fun to go through. Like, No Man's Wharf, I probably know No Man's Wharf. I think it might be my favourite level in the whole of Scholar. I love that. Even for my first run.
Really great.
Yeah, it felt a bit like Resident Evil 4's Village a little bit. Like, it's all dark and there's things coming to smash you in the dark. There's no Spanish peasants yelling, "Hey, a guy!" But, like, it's close enough, you know? And that's kind of like the feel that I got from that area. Like, it's very, you've invaded their village, you're the dickhead here.
The nice thing about there as well is that you can see the level evolving the more progress that you make.
Oh God, I love it.
If you're lighting those little lamps as you go along, but you've then got the when you ring the bell, you've got the pirate ship coming in from the distance. You've got, you know, when you put down the shortcut in the middle of the level, even when you've got, you know, the boss battle with the ship filling with water, and even the point after you finished it and you've just got the ship in the level. It's just bloody lovely.
Something occurs. So the ship's filling with water, but then you take that same ship to No Man's Wharf.
Stop it.
Do you think they should have done a bit of bailing first, maybe? I don't know.
Magic. That's what it is.
Souls magic. Carillion of the Fold cast a sealing spell on the bottom.
Magic plug.
I cast plug.
So yeah, I do love Scholar more than most, but this playthrough was me falling like in super deep romantic love with it all over again. Stepping back into Majula was just, it's super magical. The music, the surroundings, the background, sort of my herald. And for the first time, I noticed the things betwixt that the music is almost like a little off-kilter version of the Majula music.
I'd never realised.
I never noticed it before, and I was like, oh, that's really good. So you've got this like really strange off-kilter version, and then, you know, you start hearing those chimes as you hit the sunlight and you hear the waves and stuff. I think Majula is iconic in the same way as the Nexus was in Demon's Souls. I mean, say what you want about Dark Souls 3 and Miyazaki's back, but Dark Souls 2 stands on its own 2 feet. The way it harkens back to the original is classy and unobtrusive, and the direct references to the original game that are in NG Plus are a really neat touch. We were talking about like the sheer amount of ideas it comes up with that are absolutely its own.
Yeah.
So
life gems.
Yeah,
I fucking miss life gems. Do you know, we were running around, and like one of the first things that really kind of came to the front was like, oh, I've taken a few, I've only got 2 S's. I've got life gems!
Life gems are great.
Just
and like,
eat a tasty sweet and feel better.
Well, people have always said like, oh, Dark Souls just love to like throw lots at you. It's like, yeah, but you've got life gems. And whereas it's not always obvious that when you're listening to somebody swigging Estus that's in the distance, you sort of see your energy go up is just really great. You've got the bonfire aesthetics and sort of clearing the area out, which again earlier on today I sort of ran around and did a few bits just to level up the ghost dagger, and I went back to Forest of the Fallen Giants and I was like, oh, they've all gone.
Oh,
I've killed them like 8 times or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's 8 or 12, something like that, isn't it?
I don't know, but I think that's kind of cool. I think the menus are really good. They're really intuitive.
Although they are slightly in a different place than they are on Souls 1, which I'm used to. So I think I failed to get straight to the equipment menu every single time over those 2 days.
Yeah,
every single time. It was like, nope, that's just the inventory. Go back out.
They're different on Xbox One. It's like the opposite way around.
Oh, God. It just fucks me up.
PvP's belting in Dark Souls 2, which took me back to our Panther Punchu times.
Oh, that is the best deal. The best PvP I've ever had fun with is just like...
Oh, whoa. Don't forget one of my favourite episodes we've ever done, which is the Rules of Spite
episode.
That was so good.
Rules of Spite was brilliant.
We invaded one another 5... Well, we were doing 5 invasions, and what happens when one of those invasions is the other person that we're playing, and it ended up with a disagreement and an ABBA song.
The greatest.
I loved that episode. I was really chuffed with it.
I think it was laid the foundation for stuff that would come later as well, like, you know, Team Pantu Punch You in the Belfry.
Yeah,
like that laid to
great.
that. I would say that laid a bit of the foundation for Dick Week on the One Bro season. I think let's have some fun with trying to hurt each other.
What was the great thing with Panther Punch You? Because we were just using fist weapons and we were in underpants in the Belfry.
Because that was my whole guy at that point. That's my whole thing. Like, I'm going to wear nothing and punch everything. That's my entire guy.
But the sheer joy of seeing somebody else undress.
Yep.
While you're waiting, like waving at somebody, and then just seeing them stop, and you're thinking like that, are they not ready? Or they have to take out the trash or something as the mum calling them, and then you just see like there are the trousers gone, there's the tops gone. They just wait, and then it's just like, well, what is it?
Oh, they've put a cestus on. It's go time.
Yeah, that was so much fun,
and I really enjoyed as well. Just remembering back, like, and I would like us to go and do a bit more. I'd like us to go back there. I think it's going to be popping still.
We're not far off that.
We are close, so. And I remember vividly, like, I did some time there on my own before we did the co-op stuff, like, just because it was fun. Like, I really enjoyed bollocking about, and it's a good source of chunks as well. And I was like, well, I'm going to get a load of chunks, get my levels level up, and do that. I remember vividly, like, running around for ages, and I'd usually lose. Like, I didn't mind. I'd usually lose quite a bit because I wasn't wearing any armor and I had just fist weapons on. I worked out a couple of strategies, like wear the silver cat ring and keep falling through the hole, and I killed a guy with fall damage alone doing that. The guy just didn't get it and just kept following me down the hole and getting hurt every time. And I was like, well, this is working. Come on then, mate. I distinctly remember running up to, like, it was either a Havel monster or something like that, like a big fuck-off armor guy, giant sword, buffed to fuck, and I'm stood there in nothing, just the thing. He invades in, or I invaded, whichever way it was. He buffs the shit out of his sword. I start running towards him, and he ran away. It's like, you have the biggest sword I've ever seen. It is glowing yellow. I have got literally underpants on, and you are scared of me. I don't have a trick. this is the whole deal. Like, because I think people, when you invade nude with no obvious, like, thing, it's like, right, what's the trick? Like, what's the surprise? What's he going to pull out of his ass? Go on, what's coming? Is it a great sword? Oh, here we go. Like, oh, is it some stupid magic? No, literally all I got is punching and nothing. And it's glorious. I mean, like, it's so funny. Like, dude, it's just come back. And then every now and again in Team Pantu Punchu is that we get summoned into the same world.
Yeah.
And then you'd see the person look at both of us and be like, hang on.
Well, because we did a few captures on these. One, I'm hopefully going to put this clip up when we put the episode up. Well, we just beat the top pursuer up on Las Bastille, and we both hit it at the same time, and then we both like squanched a life gem at the same time, and it was just great. Like the and then the like the dual,
and then the second
exactly
the second of quiet, and then the dual. I've got a couple. I have a clip of the Nigel incident as well, so we'll put that up and let the viewers decide. That probably won't go up today, but it might go up tomorrow. But it's there, including a couple of other choice moments where you forgot what the jump button was.
Yeah, what was that?
So it was in No Man's Wharf, and it was the bit where we're running up the side when you first meet the Skelly Bob, like the skeleton arm spinnaker things, and we were clearing the level out, and it's like, right, we need to run back across and get some stuff. So I ran across, and I jumped across, I turned the camera, and I see you run forwards and just do a roll off the edge of the thing into a pit.
I think, I don't know if it was just in Dark Souls mode.
You must have been.
I've forgotten the left stick jump thing.
You just vanished.
But it was pure comedy. Because we had like such a laugh. I mean, like, another thing we've sort of touched on before as well, all the NPCs in this game are amazing. They've got character. They're memorable. I can't remember any of the NPCs in Dark Souls 3 because they're all shit.
Do you know Dark Souls 2? Pilgrim Belclair.
Well, when we fought the Golden Golfers, we had I think Belclair was one of the peeps that came in with us on that, was it?
And Felicia the Brave.
Yeah, Felicia the Brave's great. There's some amazing female NPCs on here. I loved when you go into Electric Ponyland in the DLC, and you've got essentially like a Justice League that you're taking in with you, which is super
like
cool.
Vengal and Manhunter O'Hara that come along?
Yeah, Manhunter O'Hara is amazing. And also there's the bit with we were discussing this as we were playing it, but with Mithra, where you take Jester Thomas in there.
Yeah.
And then at the end, his moment before he leaves, his wave is just like boom, massive pyromancy, and then like gone.
So, peace out, fucker.
Dramatic.
Yeah, it's the greatest.
It's so dramatic. It's phenomenal. It's like the biggest joke. Like I'm gone. But yeah, I mean, the NG Plus in this game is just stunning. It's the best NG Plus I've ever played.
I've only ever experienced it like at a distance. I've done maybe the first one level of it, but I'd never got that far into it. I've only watched other people do bits of it, and it looks fucking brilliant.
Christ. It's amazing. I mean, like, from the start of MG Plus, when you finish the game and you go back to things betwixt, and it's like, oh, this is the peaceful place where you start the level. People with hawks all surrounding, and it's just like, destroy him, mate.
And don't they throw the hawks at you, basically?
Yeah, the hawks basically, like, yeah, they leave their hands and like they fly at you. So you're on the guard from the start.
Do they even appear in the regular game? Like, I remember getting the armour quite early with the pointy hat, but I don't remember ever seeing that particular enemy in the main game.
They're I'm pretty sure they're safe at that moment. You've got, I mean, my most memorable one. You've got loads of extra red phantoms and like loads of unusual stuff that's there. But the best one is there's a red phantom that summons in the room where you've got or just before a bonfire before a boss, and the red phantom is tougher than the boss, and you can't get to the bonfire because he won't let you. And it's one of those rooms where, you know, there's those kind of bull's heads where you like hit them and they start spinning and spewing fire. First thing he does is twat that. And so it's like rotating around. You're like, oh, Jesus. And you can't get to the bonfire without fighting him. And he's OP as fuck. And I'm like, that is just the world's... It's the biggest troll, having somebody that's stopping you from tagging a bonfire. And you've got like a fair walk to get there as well. And just the room beyond, he does not want you to get that bonfire. And even if you do get up there, you can't tag him with him there. So you've got to...
Sounds like a regular invader. Engage. Like, fuck you, I'm ruining your game now. Like, do you know the other one, though? The one in Broom Tower, in the Ivory... No, not the Ivory King. What's the fiery one?
I know what
the Crown of the Old King? The Iron King? Crown of the Iron King, maybe.
All right, my mate, my best mate.
Maldron.
Hey. No, I thought you were talking about something else.
No. So you're it's near the top, and you meet that guy Maldron, the assassin or whatever it is, and he comes in with his little lance, and you fight him a little bit, and then he fucks off down that spiral staircase full of curse.
True.
And at the bottom is the Artoria sword lives at the bottom. It's like, well, I've got to go down and fuck you up because like I can't leave you alive.
Yeah.
But like he's like he fights you twice and then just runs. You're like, no, and he runs past about a dozen enemies who all wake up and like, you die now.
But there's another one that runs off into... Doesn't he run off into the area where there's a version of the creature that nicks all your gear? And he runs off into that arena.
Oh, I don't know. Is there?
Yeah, you know the creature in sort of the Poison Windmill?
The Covetous Demon.
It's a bit like...
Yeah, the Covetous
Demon. There's a version... There's an ice version of that in one of the levels, and he runs off into there's somebody that runs off into that. Plus, do you remember there's like an NPC who's like, hey, my best mate, hey, and then as soon as you turn around, he like backstabs you, and you realise he's an arsehole.
I don't remember that one.
Oh my god, really good.
Wow, I don't remember that one.
Well, again, the DLC.
DLC in it, mate.
DLC
good DLC.
Is so good for Scholar.
It was really good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get back there. Like again, my main character when we booted up, like whose name is Le Cuivier Hume, which is I think French for the copper humanity. Was
I think I had Bruce Yvet that was there at that point.
Yeah,
which I know this did. So
and I was like level 200, and it was sat in Broom Tower. Like yes, I know what I've been doing on that game. Yes, I remember. Ha. Because the Scholar version was the first time I'd ever done the DLC. I never picked it up on PS3. I knew I was going to wait for the complete version, and then it came out on the PS4. Like, well, I guess this is the version I'm going to get then.
That DLC is amazing. Like the 3 levels and the verticality that's on is it the Iron King?
Yeah, that's the one.
Is just superb. Souls hasn't done that. There's the very sort of the poisony Zelda version that's on one of them. And I love the ice level. I think it's fantastic.
That's brilliant. Really good. The ice place is great. So, a lot of people don't like Electric Ponyland, but I enjoyed it because I did that in one go, and I don't know how.
You did. That was amazing that you did that when you did. But again, like the level of invention that's in that, and the sheer sort of Silent Hill-like panic as all of a sudden sort of the calmness just swoops up and the snow envelops you, and you can hear like the hooves sort of coming forth, and you're like, where are they coming from? And you have to try and get rid of kind of the electric ponies that are coming at you, and then try and get your bearings, and then figure out which way is forward, and then you've got like an arse of a boss, and like even further on than that.
Do you know when my squeaky bum time moment was when I did that the first time? My squeaky bum time moment was fighting that boss, and you get that fateful message flash up on the screen: Greatsword plus 10 at risk. Like, oh fuck!
Oh god!
It's like, can I do this? Yeah. And I did 2 more swings. It went Greatsword broken. It's like, oh piss! Oh piss! I had to switch out to. I think I finished that with like a goddamn like a dagger or something. Like I just like, what can I even equip right now? I just quick to my menu and grabbed the first thing I could use. And I remember just like panicking my way through the end of the boss. Like, luckily, I think Vengal was still alive at that point, so he kind of carried me through the last bit. But fuck me if that was rough. Like it was very scary.
We have to highlight as well just the genius of going through those levels and walking into certain rooms, and somebody stands up from a chair and disappears. And then when you get further on in that game, you see all of those chairs, and you see how many of them that you've got, all surrounding like a massive hole. And then when you approach it, you drop down. They come down with you. You've got all those portals that are appearing, and you realise that the guys that you freed can actually ice up and block up the portals. You're having loads of enemies coming at you. Then the curtains come back and the main event comes in, and he's going full Artorias on you with like a really death metal like die.
And you can bring like 3 phantoms as well. Like you can bring 3 mates. It's like it's not a fight. It's fucking war, isn't it? Yeah. It's not a scrap. It's a war.
But that is a stunning boss fight. Absolutely stunning. And a great callback to the Artorias fight without it being the Artorias fight. It's got enough to stand on its own. I ran through that fight like helping other people, and I got all of the gear from that.
Yeah, I did too.
I ground it. And you know what? I loved every single time with it.
I'd do it again.
There was no point.
Yeah, I'd do it again, mate.
There was no point during that drop down into the arena where I wasn't going like, and then halfway through, like, I won.
Yeah.
Poof! Like doing the Iron Man punch on the floor. God, it was so good.
I'm thinking back, that was great. And again, like that little moment of die as he comes through, like it's
magnificent with that sweep, that grandiose theatre,
and then just helping everyone do it as well, like and experimenting with different weapons against him, and like I'm going to do this one nude, and like yes, it's even better.
But they've even sewed little things into that which affect the main game. Like there's the item that lets you see one of the bosses and sort of clears a lot of the ice away and stuff. But when you take that into the main game on a certain level, the phantoms that you can't hit, suddenly you can see them and you can affect them. And that's
really.
Did you not know that?
No.
You know the level where you're walking into. It's just before. Let me try and get my facts straight. Just before you fight or you bring in the Scorpion Man.
Oh, Mitha. No, not Mitha. The Scorpioness Najka.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. In that level, there are phantoms that are in there that are just like sitting down and stuff, and there's kind of a forest that you wander into that's full of smoke and stuff. If you bring that item from the DLC, if you've got that and you bring that back into that level, you can see and hit all of the phantoms.
That's mental.
How good is that?
That's really cool. I had no idea about that.
There's so many little touches. I think we said this when we were playing, but I think that future society will come back to Dark Souls 2 and just go stood on its own. The links to the original game are literal like whispers.
They're subtle.
And fables that have been passed down through time. There are legends that have twisted and maybe are and maybe aren't, but they don't directly impact the first game. The first game stands on its own. This is a world that's remade, that's got slight similarities and slight callbacks here and there, but it's not sort of a cack-handed, like bitter fan fiction like DS3 is. And I just think there are so many ideas in there that whether it set out to do that in the first place or whether it was Tanamura sort of fine tuning it, I don't know. But I think it's my favourite game ever. But I think a lot of people should, because a lot of people haven't even gone to Scholar. They're disillusioned with the original game. But I think a lot of people might be pleasantly surprised. It'll turn up, if it turns up on like a PlayStation Plus,
Because we've had blooders now, haven't we? So I mean, it's a high chance.
If people start that and they've never played it before, I think a lot of people will give it a go because it was on Plus, and will find themselves just it'll be a belter. And I know Bloodborne has turned a lot of people on to being on Plus, has got a lot of people playing Bloodborne that maybe thought it wasn't for them and have got addicted to it like in a big way. I could see Scholar doing that. It's like so superb.
I'd agree. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Oh,
it's a good game, that, isn't it?
Dark Souls 2. Yeah, but I can't underline how much fun we've had going back to this, and that we've been over multiple nights. It's been like days when I've been on late shifts. Like I'll be out from 7, so I'll be home not long after, and then I'll have a bit of snap, and I'll see you on Select soon.
Yeah, I was like, right, well, I'm going to get washed, I'm going to have a quick bath, and I should be dry by the time you're out. And it tended to link up pretty well as well, didn't it? Like, go, ready. But
we've had such a good time. It's been great. I'm playing the game differently to the way that we have previously. So.
Totally. And it's fun doing like a dedicated co-op run again, like not just kind of dipping in and out every 5 levels though. It's like we're doing the whole thing. Like these are our co-op characters. We're going off and doing the little extras, when we're not about, like picking up the odd Estus shard that you might have missed. But generally, like the actual levels we're doing as a pair, especially when things go wrong as well. Like in the Lost Bastille, when I went to go get the item at the end of that bridge, that the wall you have to jump onto and run around the edge of, and got a bit confused when I couldn't get back. And it turns out I could have just hopped off the end, totally fine, just totally fine. But no, we gave up, and I fell off and killed myself, and had to do the whole level again because I'm a dumb fuck.
And I'm sure not long after I was looking up at an item going like, I wonder how you get to that. And you were like, yeah, that's the thing
one
I picked up on it. That's the thing I didn't do. I'm so ashamed.
That's the smeg up that I did. Yeah, shortly on from the Nicholas inside the building.
But yeah, we'll have to record a few of these and stick them up to show you how much.
It was stupid fun.
I still think it's one of the. We had such a time. It made me wish that we'd streamed it because we just had such a giggle, and it would. I watch a lot of Twitch stuff, and it would have been nice to have people involved in chat and like feeding off like the giggles that we were having. But maybe that's for the future.
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe. So do you know? I did another Souls thing. I got the board game out again.
Okay. Oh yeah. Go for it.
I got the board game out again. I had last Tuesday. I had the day off, and once I sort of tidied the house up, and it was about 1 o'clock. I was like, well, got a few hours spare. There's nothing I really want to play right now. I'm kind of cool. I finished God of War. I was having a little bit of a not funk, but like when like you finished a big game and you're like, just want to let that sit for a bit. I don't really fancy playing anything else.
Sometimes you've got to let it resonate. You've got to marinate in like the endings and stuff.
But I thought to myself, I haven't got the board game out for a while, and I know I've been kind of seeing production models of the new stuff that's coming, like the Asylum Demon pack and the Calamite pack. They've been showing off images and like some of the mechanics for how that stuff works as well. Like the Asylum Demons having a whole pillar rule where if a pillar gets smashed and you're like next to it, you get staggered and you take a bit of damage. Like it seems really cool. The Calamite mini apparently has strafe of figures, so you can like dive along the board, damaging everything, which seems ridiculous. I'm up for it, but I decided, you know what? I never beat that frigging game. Like we came close a couple of times, but we never killed the main boss. So I thought I'm going to get it out and try again. So I got out my what I got for Christmas from my soon-to-be brother-in-law, my Paddy's Big Boy gaming mat.
Yes, I've seen that.
The big red
with your face smooshed all over,
just covered in my face. And with the Paddy's Big Boy gaming mat written in Comic Sans in the middle, you motherfucker. Thanks for that, Matt.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Every time I saw it, I got angry. I was like, you fucking twat. Laid it all out, got all the chips out, and I'd since painted a lot of my models as well. So, like, this is the first time I'd used them when they were painted.
Oh, right. Sweet. I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah, because I kind of painted them and just put them away. Like, I just forgot all about it because we had other stuff. Gloomhaven came down the pipe shortly after. It's like, well, Gloomhaven's great. So yeah, I got it out with the painted minis, and I kind of used the painted stuff as much as I could, and that was generally all of it. And I had a run. I decided to try and take on the Winged Knight first from Dark Souls 3, the big fatty with the halberd.
Oh yeah.
Which came down to the wire, but I pepped him, and I played it single player as well, like with the Barbarian, which is my kind of guy. Found a pretty good weapon in the item pack quite early, so did pretty well. And then decided to have another crack at Ornstein and Smo for my main boss challenge. and did them on the third go, and I was well happy with myself. Well happy.
Blimey.
Yeah, I found some good stuff. I had some armour that was actually good. So I was able to take a few more hits than I would have by myself. Because the issue when you fight on your own is that the enemies always go for you. When you're playing co-op, they kind of ping-pong back and forward. So you can kind of, if you're far enough away from each other, some of the attacks won't necessarily land because they can't reach you in time. Whereas Orny and Smo are like, hey look, that person there needs to die right now. And they complement each other well, so the two minis activate at once. Smo will tend to kind of trundle about and hit big attacks, but not really with much direction. So he'll like look at you, but then kind of step to the side and do a big side sweep. And if you're lucky, it'll miss you completely. Whereas Ornstein will jump at you from a distance and kind of, he's got more range, so he'll kind of stab from his spear from like 2 spaces away. It's got the classic moment as well, when you kill one of them, the other one gets stronger and gets different attacks, and they get stronger. So I decided to focus on Smo first because he had more health, and then Ornstein second. And yeah, I mean, I fucking peaked it down to the wire. I had 1 cube of stamina or health left before death, and I did it on my last attack, and I was very, very proud of myself. And then the incident happened, whereupon I'd been sat on the floor on a cushion for about 3 hours straight, with my leg tucked underneath me, and I stood up, and my right leg basically stopped working.
Oh.
I kind of, my ankle went numb, my knee went numb, I kind of buckled to the side and thought, oh no, what have I done? I basically hobbled myself. So the next day, I was walking to work, I literally limped to work, hobbled in, and thought, oh, well, you're right, what have you done to yourself? I was like, board game injury? And the looks, I got like, what, Twister? No, just a sitting injury from sitting down. I hurt myself sitting down. So here's my lesson to those who want to sit on the floor and play board games. Move your legs about a bit. Don't tuck them under yourself and then have them to go numb, because it is now a week on and my ankle is only just feeling better. It is a joke. It is a fucking joke how much I ruined myself from a 3-hour sitting down rolling dice session. But I think since I played it, I've got more interest in playing the I was going to say DLC, the expansion pack that I ordered. I got the.
Is that out now?
It's soon. They're coming soon. The production models are out. The pre-pro models are out. They're ready to go. I think Darkroot is all but printed. I didn't go for Darkroot. I wanted to, but I thought no. I'm going to get one and maybe treat myself later. So I'm getting the Gaping Dragon soon because I fucking love the Gaping Dragon. I think it's my favourite boss in the first game. It is stupid how much I love the Gaping Dragon. Like, he's a giant dragon made of teeth. Like, he's amazing. And his attacks are just, I'm gonna fucking eat everything! Ka-chonk! And the mini is just doing the classic, like, arms wide, mouth open, leaning back, come at me, bro.
Oh, cool.
It's such a nice looking mini. And to be fair, all of the DLC, oh my god, I said it again, expansion pack, mini models are incredibly nice. Like, the Calamite looks great. The Asylum Demon is cool as hell. I really, really like the Asylum Demon model. It looks great. They're doing a couple of the Dark Souls 3 ones. There's Smelter coming. There's a Ceralon coming. There's a bunch of stuff from the Iron Keep. The Darkroot pack has got Mushroom People in it, and a Sith, and an Artorias, and some of those kind of Stone Knight things from the Artorias DLC. With the big chonking great hammers. We're getting some of those. There's, like about 30 more minis of invaders and summoners and armor sets coming. So we're going to get like a little Tarkus and a little Lautrec and a little Solaire. And I think some of the invaders and the helpers are across all the games as well. So I think there's a Sellsword Lue. There may be a Manhunter O'Hara. I'm not 100% certain on that. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I looked at the list. It's been a good while. But I think she's in there as well. There's a oh god, what's the name of the knobhead? Who comes in? Oh god, what's his name? Kirk.
Oh right, okay, Kirk Knight of
Kirk the bastard. Yeah, Kirk's coming through as well. We're getting a Kirk figure. Which is crazy. Getting a blooming little tiny Kirk figure. So yeah, I'm just really excited now to get back on and play a bit more of it. Like, it was a fun game, and now I've beaten it by myself. I'm kind of hoping that I can beat it with friends now. Like, and now I know what I'm doing. I can help them, or they can help me, or, you know, I've got an idea of how things work. I can kind of, I don't know, prioritise a bit better, and I don't want a quarterback. Like, there's nothing worse than quarterbacking, which is when you tell everyone what to do. Like, that ain't fun. Like, that's not fair, and that's not really a game. Like, if you're quarterbacking and telling everyone what to do, that's not really on. But like, I feel like I've got enough knowledge now that I can give people an idea. Like, this would be a good idea, and they'll go, "Oh, okay," and like work together. Oh my god, yes. Okay, I've brought the list up while I've been talking. Yeah, there's mimics coming. There's a pursuer model coming. Yep, a little plastic bonfire. All of the 10 main player character classes from Dark Souls 3 are going to be player character usable, so you can use a pyromancer, a cleric, a thief, a mercenary, a sorcerer, and a deprived. Tiny crystal lizard, a couple of those. Cool. Some turtle knights. We're getting turtle knights. In terms of the armor set, so like the good characters, we've got there's a Lautrec. There's what's the name of the guy? Aishimai, who sells the fun gear.
I know the guy you mean, yeah.
Aishimai. He's in the gold hem set. There's the dark set. There's a Havel. There's a Black Knight. There's Onion Bro. Everyone gets a Solaire as well. Here we go. The summoned expansion. We've got a Sellsword Lue. Prepare Your Butt. Lucatiel. Ruined Aphlis. You know, in the Forest of Fallen Giants, the guy that casts the magic light, who's got like that weird eyeball helmet on. One of him that's coming. Sigurd is coming. There's a couple of Dark Souls 3 ones, like Egon and Cirrus of the Sunless Realms, and that Swordmaster guy that hangs out near Firelink Shrine in Dark Souls 3 that just fucks you up with an Uchi. Like, you get one of him. The Invader set has a Kirk. It's got a Paladin Leroy. It's got a Chester. It's got a Butcher, like Maneater Mildred, Xanthus King Jeremy Greer, Maldron the Assassin, who we were talking about earlier. It's ridiculous. Armourer Dennis.
Oh, cool.
It's stupid how much stuff is coming. I'm so
really
excited.
excited that my little nerdy characters from Dark Souls 2 are going to turn up in it, frankly.
Yeah, I knew you'd enjoy those. Like, I knew you'd be like, whee! Oh, here we go. Wave 2 is on track for delivery in July 2018. So in about 2 months, I'm going to have some of this plastic.
Cool.
I can't wait, mate. It's been really good. I like playing this game.
Keep us updated about this sort of stuff.
I will. And I'll be playing it, and I'll tell you all how badly it's gone. But it's more to paint as well. Like, I kind of haven't painted since, because the last model I've got to do in my main game set are... I've got to finish the Sentinels from Anor Londo, the big guys that hang around in the building. I've got to finish painting those. I've got to do the Dancer. I've not been brave enough to do her yet. And the Belfry Gargoyle, I've not been brave enough to touch that, because that's my favourite model. It's gorgeous, and I don't want to ruin it. And I've just been, like, building myself and working out what paint I need to buy, and, like, a special rusty paint to make it look green and oxidised. Like, I've got a plan of what I need to do, but I've not actioned it yet. But when this stuff starts coming down, like, that's just like, I've got a Pursuer to paint, I've got a Smelter to paint, I've got some Turtles and Mimics to paint, like, I've got a fucking Gaping Dragon to paint.
Setting aside the right amount of time to be able to just fall into it lavishly rather than just doing a bit and then having to switch off again. And
it sucks because I kind of like watching telly while I paint, but I can't watch any of the stuff I'm watching right now because it's all anime and I can't read and paint. I've been sort of falling into YouTube a lot when I've been doing that sort of stuff, because you can just sort of put it on in the background and just listen to people talk, or podcasts even. It's just something you can have on in the background while you focus on something else, and I'm looking forward to having some time to do that again. Now I've got a fair lump of stuff coming. I can kind of like, right, today I'm going to do a shitload of silver. I'm going to get all the silver I can done. Today I'm going to do some flesh, or I'm going to try and do the weapons on everybody, or I'm going to do like all the black stuff, like get all the black stuff done. So I can do like a batch of stuff in one go, which is, I find, better. Like, you get more done. Like when I did my hollows, you got 3 sword hollows and 3 crossbow hollows. I did them all together. So I did, right, I'm going to do all of the leather, do all that. Right, that's all dried. Right, I'm going to start doing all the shields. Do all the shields. I'm going to do all the armour, do all the fabric, one after another. And I got like the lot done in about 2 hours. And they look fine. Like, they look really good. Like, I'm quite happy with how they turned out. So doing a set of things together is much easier for me, rather than do one model painstakingly, then do another model painstakingly, and like getting the colours right. It's just easier to do it as a batch.
Build up your craft.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And I've got plenty of things to practice on as well. So, like, I want to save the ones that I love the most till the end. Like, I want Lautrec to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because he's my boy. I need him. So yeah, I'm just what a game. I think I drifted on it after playing Gloomhaven because Gloomhaven was so damn good, and it still is very good. But going back and playing it, having some time just to play it myself, like I got a good appreciation for just like how well designed it is, and it is based a bit on luck. Like there is come down to the dice rolls quite a bit, but it gives you the tools to make those dice rolls as good as you can to give you that edge where you can, and the more tactical and more patient you are, the better you'll do. And I
guess we're inadvertently like building up a theme in this regard, returning to something that you really liked and sort of falling for it.
It turns out, it's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Souls board game, but it's brilliant. And if we ever do like another visit thing, we're absolutely going to do it.
Okay.
100%. Cool. You can marvel at the paintings, and you can look at Tiny Ornstein and just drool.
We'll bring it into, because there's a couple of board game cafes, and if you're up here, there's a couple of board game cafes here, so we'll bring it in, sit down.
It is heavy.
Have a brew. Oh, okay.
There's quite a lot of it. It's a big box. It's not as heavy as Gloomhaven, which weighs, no joke, 10 kilograms, but it's still a big box. It's not. It's a lump. It's good though. It's worth the effort. It is great.
Right, I'm going to bounce into something that happened at the weekend, which has been a bit on the down low, but it's quite interesting. So a few bits burst forth from Reset Era at the weekend.
Are they that's because I always get this wrong? Is that the thing that NeoGAF sort of?
Yes.
Okay, turned into almost.
So I was reading through this thread because I was up silly early on Sunday morning, and there was a reference to it, and so jumped on, and I was going to pick out like the various different quotes, but there was thankfully there's this story that I found from Rory Young on Game Rant.
Okay.
So he says, little to nothing is known about From Software's next project. First revealed during the Game Awards in late 2017, the project is currently known by the text shown during that debut trailer, Shadows Die Twice, which may or may not be its official title. More information may be less than a month away, however, as a source is claiming that Shadows Die Twice will have a big showing at E3. Reset Era community member Omnipotent, also known as Omnipotent Component, first made waves in December 2017. They claim that Shadows Die Twice was 200% not Bloodborne 2. Mm-hmm. The Reset Era administration, which has strict rules regarding unfounded rumours, then verified that Omnipotent was in a position to know what they claimed. The veracity of Omnipotent's claims, however, was not confirmed. And now Omnipotent is back with more information regarding Shadows Die Twice, as speculation regarding the game's presence at E3 grows to a height. According to Omnipotent, From Software will have a big showing for Shadows Die Twice at E3, but they can't divulge which show until close to the event. The implication being that Shadows Die Twice will be featured during a big press conference, but which conference may be a surprise. The new rumours didn't stop there, however, as Omnipotent continued to face questions regarding Shadows Die Twice's relationship to past From Software games. After making clear that Shadows Die Twice isn't Dark Souls 4 either, they said the following in response to whether the game is a Souls-like. I can say that it's not going to be Demon Souls adjacent, and that's about it in terms of gameplay. You're probably not going to see another set of games that can be as tightly knit together as Demon's Dark Blood, but it's still going to be a FromSoft game, so take from that as you will. From Software has mentioned before that it's not planning on continuing the Souls brand for the time being, but that hasn't stopped fans from asking for more. But even if From Software is dropping the gameplay of Souls for the time being, it's hard to imagine it dropping the dark and gothic style. Retaining the style seems to be what Omnipotent is implying, as supported by the blood and bone shown in Shadows Die Twice's first trailer. Unfortunately, the veracity of these rumours won't be confirmed or repudiated until E3. Everything said fits well into reason, though. From Software has said prior that it's working on 3 games, one of which is Armored Core, and one of which is a new genre for From Software. Other wilder rumours have pointed towards Shadows Die Twice being a spiritual successor to Japanese survival horror game Kuon.
Yeah, I saw that. There was some Japanese text in the background of that initial teaser, fishing rod moment, spool. The video for Shadows, there was a fishing rod thing, wasn't there? Like a spool. And someone pointed out some Japanese text in the background. That's interesting. I like to think that the idea that it's thematically similar or visually similar style, but not the same game. Kind of how Metal Gear 2 and Zone of the Enders visually look quite similar in certain ways, like Jehuti and Metal Gear Ray look really, really similar, but they are completely different games. And I only make that pull because my background on my PC right now is Jehuti. And it's reminded me as you were talking, I was trying to think of a good example, and it's just oh, there's one I'm looking at right now. That's interesting. I'm into that.
I mean, there was some interesting stuff in the discussions of the thread, because there were somebody said Shadows Die Twice was on the Sony E3 show, and they was no, it was on the Game Awards. And then somebody else was why would it be on the Microsoft press conference? Dark Souls has always been shown at the Microsoft conference. Then, as part of this, in the discussion, somebody said, what was discussed in the thread was that this might even be Microsoft's big exclusive RPG for E3, which they've been hinted at, and that they may have bought Shadows Die Twice as a complete console exclusive.
Huh. I don't know if, that's hard. I'm not sure about that.
But
given how well Blooders did for Sony, do you think they'd want to let them... And given how we've heard... Now, given the way that we've seen Sony throw money at stuff to keep it off other platforms, do you think they'd let this go? I don't know. I don't think I trust that. I don't think I believe that.
You've got an interesting thing here, because Microsoft's been courting Japanese developers. They've apparently got some sort of gobsmacking RPG to reveal at E3. Surely you're playing your competition off against each other. It's probably going to be nothing for Microsoft to throw money at them to have it as an exclusive, should this be the case. But there's also a relationship that stretches back with Microsoft and From anyway. That Ninja Blade and Metal Wolf Chaos on 360 were exclusives. On the original Xbox, there's the Itogi games. So there is a link, but also it will be interesting, because I hate the console wars. But you've got the same people that you always see going oh, Microsoft have got no exclusives. And then if something from turned up as an exclusive on the Xbox, they'd be oh my god, why isn't this coming to PS4? You're just you can't have it both ways. Competition is good. And it would, there were rumours early on that it may be a new spiritual successor to Tenchu or something.
Yeah,
and
if
that is the case, I can't see Sony publishing this and that sort of Tsushima, is it? The Sucker Punch one?
Oh yeah. That's apparently getting a decent showing this year at E3.
So there's lots of. There was one guy on there who was I've not got any stake in the game either way, but I would love to see the sheer chaos if it does turn out to be a Microsoft exclusive.
It would be mad, wouldn't it? Saying that, you say Sony wouldn't publish the 2 games similar. They put out Bloodborne and The Order 1886, very similar sort of aesthetics at the same time, and people noticed and I hope Bloodborne doesn't turn out like the other steampunky looking game.
I remember going to a preview for that, and it was the only person that was there for Bloodborne.
Yep.
I'm not kidding you. But yeah, so it'd be interesting. It was I haven't caught up with the thread since the weekend, and obviously there are quotes in the article from the insider who's been confirmed as knowing what they know. The stuff that I mentioned afterwards was discussed in the thread itself. But I think it's interesting because there are the connections between Microsoft and From anyway. From have been, Microsoft have been courting a lot of Japanese developers recently, and there is apparently something huge coming to a huge RPG that's going to be revealed for the Xbox at E3. Although I was watching a podcast the other day, and somebody just said, like, if there is a sequel to Lost Odyssey that's revealed at E3, people will lose their minds. And I love Lost Odyssey to pieces, so that's for me is kind of a bit of a
that's your hello.
Yeah, but it would be living chaos if this turned out to be
that's like
a Microsoft exclusive.
That's like when people say Soul Reaver near me, though. It's like, what?
Well, that would be an interesting one for you if all of a sudden like Soul Reaver was coming like to opposite machine and you saw it and it was like, oh, this is all the things that I want on the wrong machine.
Yeah, I'm going to need to book the fucking... I haven't got the week off for E3 this year. I kind of fucked it a bit. I forgot. And we've got the holiday coming up in a week instead, so I'm going to have to try and make sure I've got a couple of days off in a row so I can consume these things as they happen, because like I really like staying up and watching the Sony show when it happens. Like, it's the only one I'll stay up that late for, because it's just generally where the stuff I want to play tends to turn up. And that's like the one I get excited for. And, I think last year wasn't that great, but the previous years it's been, an absolute stormer. We've had that time where they did, I think it was it the one where they did the price announce just after the Xbox One? And it was $100 up. And then I remember sitting there with you. I think I was in my old flat. It was a good 3 or 4 years ago. Sitting there with you at like 5 a.m. just chatting shit till about 8 o'clock in the morning. Just neither of us had slept. It's like we just couldn't not talk about it. It was like, it was electric. It's like, I can't believe what's happening. This is ridiculous. What's going on? This generation's fucked already. It's great.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting.
Oh God, I've just realised something as well. With E3 around the corner, we've got to record another 15 fucking hours, haven't we?
We're putting out the calls to James Carter, and we'll be talking about all of
James, get your snacks in now, mate. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, one of us has booked 10 days off.
I've got evenings. I'll be fine. We'll be okay.
Yeah,
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, I'm double excited. So
yeah, same.
Yeah, there'll be the E3 preview episode soon. Let me see what else we've got. Since last time,
there can't be more.
Yeah, since last time, Dark Souls Remastered on Switch has been delayed until summer.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of a surprise, given it's the first version to be given a proper hands-on with your actual public at PAX, and the reception there was good. Epic Namebro spoke up about it on Twitter, saying, I'd like to point out that the Switch version probably needs the most changes to work and is being done by a different developer. Should be Virtuous handling the Switch version, Q-Lock the others. So if you're wondering why the different timings, it makes sense. It's a completely different port. That leaves Bandai in the unenviable position of managing the schedules for 2 different partners. It would have been more surprising if they did release at the same time. In response to a question that Virtuous aren't developing anything, he went on to say they're developing a port which can have even more challenges than developing a game from scratch, because they're restricted in what changes they can actually be made. A question came in about the PAX response, and EMB says, was the PAX build multiplayer? Because the multiplayer system having issues would be my guess, but it's just a guess. So, as you would imagine, like the Slayer amiibos also delayed. Let's hope they use the extra time to make more of them. So, yeah, we get to the end of next week.
Here's the thing, right? Long run, I think that Switch delay isn't going to cause many problems. I think long run, people will buy the PS4 or Xbox One version next week, and then in 3 months, when the Switch version comes out, it'll be fresh again, and everyone will buy that again. I think it will lead to more sales for both versions, I reckon. Because people, with this PS4 or Xbox One, like, I know that you're mental, so you're not included in this, but most people will pick one if they've got, like, a what I call the normal console, and they'll pick the PS4 or the Xbox One and buy one of those, and then maybe pick up the Switch version later if they can afford it. Whereas now, like, you can make that choice to get the HDified 4K version immediately, and then pick up the Switch version just later on, and you know that it's when everyone else is going to be playing it at the same time as well, and it'll be 2 or 3 months will have passed. And I mean, you see this all the time. People bring out games, and then 3 months later they launch on Switch and sell just the same, if not more, copies, because it's the same game that's been proven to be good, but portable now. And I know with Dark Souls it's different because everyone knows that it's good, but so many indies, come out and then just do gangbusters on the Switch, just absolute gangbusters. Because they were out earlier, and we're like, oh yeah, I know that game, it's good. Let's play it local. Let's play it on the toilet.
Well, there's lots of people that I knew who were looking at the 3 releases of like PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and they were favourites. Sorry, PS4, Xbox One, and PC and Switch, and they were favouring the Switch version because, like, I've played the other ones, but I can play this one on the go. I can play it, in the library or in the coffee shop or on the loo. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's just going to mean, even inadvertently, that people are going to like double dip, whereas they might not.
Yeah, they're going to want to play it now when everyone else is playing it. Like, oh my god, I have to. Like, how many tweets and how many Facebook posts and how many stories we're going to see people going, I said I was going to wait for the Switch port, and then I walked past game, and now I have it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot.
So speaking of Epic Name Bro, he's done a Dark Souls 2 lore run.
Really?
Recently, brackets, because reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Twitch, and it's not going on YouTube. EMB hasn't said why he's doing it. I can only speculate that a remastered guide of Dark Souls 2 will be produced to go along with the forthcoming Switch release. Because they're all coming to Switch.
Are they? Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that. Yeah, of course they are.
So I wonder if, on the one hand, if like the Switch release is going to maybe be like Christmas, January time, something like that. But the original guide only covers the original version of Dark Souls 2 vanilla.
True.
And obviously there were patches thereafter, the DLC and the Scholar Remix. There's the new version of the Dark Souls guide that's coming out at the same time as Dark Souls Remastered. So it makes sense that they update the other stuff because they're still in circulation. So again, speculation, but I imagine it will be the same folks who remastered Dark Souls for Switch, maybe. But I wonder if Scholar's going to get the odd tweak here and there on PS4 1 and PC 2. Don't know.
Maybe an update, but I can't see that much happening. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty full formed at this point. I mean, Scholar particularly. DS3 might need some work, but Scholar seems done, isn't it? I mean, the patches we've had down, that game's been out for what, 2 years on the PS4 now? Maybe more?
I mean, there's odd bits that I can imagine being like tidied up, but like little bits of animations and stuff, but generally good.
Yeah.
EMB's spoken about the forthcoming guide for Dark Souls Remastered, that he's working on it with a bunch of high-profile Souls folks, that he's handling the lore. Lobos Jr. is on bosses, but he's not sure if the others involved have come out and said as such. It seems he's been given greater access to From's intentions regarding the story, though, and gave a little tip that it was Karth that incited the people of Ulasil to dig up and experiment on the furtive pygmy, which led to Manus and the Abyss. So I was like, he did also say that the forthcoming Dark Souls 3 design works does not feature an interview or any commentary, unlike the amazing Dark Souls 2 iteration, which I've raved about before. So I guess we're waiting for that 3rd edition's Dark Souls Beyond the Grey Volume.
Missing a trick there, aren't they? Really, because that's the interesting.
Pass the story.
But as we joked when we were playing, the Dark Souls 3 design works would be. We took a copy of Dark Souls 1 and thought, that's good. And then did that.
then ruined that lad that you all liked.
Yeah.
And turned Artorias into a few vague monsters. And then maybe time is timey-wimey. And something, I don't know.
Do you know what's better than one Firelink Shrine? 4 of them.
Moving
Fucking
on.
hell.
So yeah, these EMB bits and bobs. At the time of writing this down, there were 3 VODs that were on Twitch. One of which was 4.5 hours long.
Jeez.
One was 3 and a bit. The other one was 90 minutes. Watched all of it, mate.
It's good.
Watched all of it. Yeah, it was great. I really like EMB. He comes across as a really lovely fella. Just no ego, chatting with the folks that watch him, not afraid to stuff up like the rest of us. I mean, he was properly like going into the levels and trying to find absolutely everything, because he was involved with the original Dark Souls 2, with like the guide and stuff.
I remember, yeah.
Didn't really know a lot about Scholar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it, and as a Dark Souls 2 nerd, even before we started playing again, it was kind of cool.
Oh, that's neat.
So I'm going to boing now into Paddy Does a One Bro Prime.
Sweet.
So we opened it up on Twitter as to what exactly counts as being a one bro. The consensus appears to be just get to Gwyn.
Kill Gwyn. At soul level
really
1. That's it, isn't it?
Which doesn't really underline the achievement of smashing Calamite, Manus, Artorias. Hence, you came up with One Bro Prime, and I like it.
Yeah, I think it feels good. Like, I'm happy with that.
I honestly can't imagine Calamite and Manus being possible.
Neither did I at the start. I would say each one of those 3 bosses, the DLC bosses in particular, I had a few issues with some of the other bosses as we go, but that's all documented, that's all up now. Ceaseless discharge of all fucking things. Jesus Christ, man. CC fucking D. I will never forget the discharge wars as long as I live. But yeah, those bosses, like, I would say those bosses, Torius, Manus, Calamite, 20 to 30 tries each on Soul Level 1, I would say. Each boss. Most of those runs are on video up. Some of them were cut down into failed attempts. The Manus one in particular has 13 more attempts from the one where I gave up recording them live and said, right, we're going to a montage. So yeah, there were 13 failures between...
You had crazy fun with those edits. There's some really neat stuff there.
Yeah, I got into a bit of a weird sort of creative fun point where I haven't been there for a while either, where like we come up with a stupid idea and then like just spend an evening and just mash it out. Like we had that with some of our songs as well, like that Warframe Tenno video we put together. Because the song at the end was fun. I thought, I can make a video for this. Fuck it, give me an hour.
Well, when we did the sort of attract video for us, which was originally on a Gadget Girl Kylie thing where she was tipping the hat towards like people that she knew who were creative, and we then sort of monkeyed with it a little bit to sit on the front of our Twitter. But
that was a fun bit. Yeah, no, I just had ideas.
You super smashed into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I kind of got a bit silly with the edits as things went on is because those boss fights were taking so long, and like my prime concern with them was not to bore people, because I realised with the Artorias fights, like I've done 7 episodes of this, and I've come close a few times, but I haven't done it, and I can't see the end of this tunnel anytime soon, and I was getting worn out. Like you can only talk about the same fight so much and keep it interesting, and I was running out of things to say about it. You know, I'd done a calm run, I'd done an angry run, I'd done the run where I talked to him the entire time, I'd done a few different ideas, and nothing seemed to work. And I was like, right, I've got a break here. I need a break. And then somehow bashed him 3 runs after I gave up, which was mad. Like, so you've only missed, I think, like 2 or 3 runs, like that aren't on film against Artorias. And the idea of that, I had that idea in the bath. Like, I was listening to my good anime playlist while I was having a bath, which has a bunch of like anime intros on it and just odd bits of music that I like. And it had the You Say Run music from My Hero Academia, which is like the classic theme that show uses when something super heroic's happening. And it's such a good song. Like, it's really, really like soaringly majestic. And I remember to myself, like, they used that over some good fights, didn't they? And like one of my favourite fights in the series is All Might, is the Superman character, or the Superman adjacent character, fighting this terrifying thing called Nomu, this big kind of like, I've been designed to kill you, like I am your negative, like Was there a version of that for Superman? Like something artificially created to kill him? A Doomsday, maybe? Sort of, kind of?
Yes, I suppose you can kind of factor in a few bits in regards to that with Superman.
But I've been specifically designed to fuck you up. And the fight is one of the best fights I think I've watched in anime. Like, it's not particularly long, but it sort of has all the soul and all the spirit, and like you are cheering along with this fight as it's gone like, yes mate, come on you fucker. And he's punching him at 100% power and it's not working. It's like, well, I guess I have to punch him harder than 100%. It's like, what did he just say? That's incredible. There's a little bit of a JoJo-ish kind of like punch, aura thing, and I always like when I see those. It's not kind of done as, oh, here's a reference. It's just a thing that happens because he punches so fast. And as kind of the fight starts turning, you're like, oh my god, it's happening. The music swells and it kind of drops out for a second and then comes back stronger than it does. And I thought, that's a good bit of music. I could do something with this. I've got an enemy who kind of talks a little bit like this, I would imagine, at this point in his life.
I didn't know you knew as much Japanese as you do.
Yeah, it turns out I know all the Japanese. So what I did is I took...
It's all relevant.
Yeah, so I took the audio. I found that fight on YouTube and I downloaded it. I just took the audio out of that fight. I made a point of going through with a notepad, writing down like who said what line to try and make sure that I made a character line up with the same lines. And it helped me plan it out. And I decided to have an anime, like when you're playing like a JRPG and like the character's picture will come up with their text. That's the way I thought. That's the way I envisaged it, and that's what happened. And it actually worked out really easy. It was really simple. And I found a few characters that I thought would like be fun to talk. So there's a Solaire that takes over the Midoriya, who's the main character of the show, takes over his slot. So he kind of does the whole, praise the sun emote when he's like more than 100%. There's an Onion Bro in there somewhere. There's definitely a Tarkus at the end, being like he proved his iron. And I just sort of took the audio and thought, right, what will be a good thing to say here? And I think I went through about 3 different versions of that script till I found one that I liked. Until I found like a good like flow, and I kind of watched it back and thought, that's perfect. So I sat there and I found all the pictures and promptly almost lost it. Thank you, fucking Adobe Premiere, you dickhead. After 3 hours of work, the file wouldn't load anymore. So I kind of luckily managed to save it with a bit of jiggling around. But after that, installed Sony Vegas and never looked back. Which turns out is a better video program than Adobe Premiere. It's just better. It's just so much better.
That was the one you got on Humble.
It was, yeah, for like a tenner. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's so good. And it's like last year's model as well, so it's really well featured. Like it's quick as well. So yeah, I put that together and had a lot of fun with it. And it went down really well. A lot of people seemed to enjoy it. And I was like, well, I kind of got other ideas now. And I knew Calamite was coming. I was like, well, what do I know that's got dragons in? Dragon's Dogma's got dragons. And I kind of...
Any excuse to use that piece of music.
I love Interfree. It's such a good bit of music. And it just comes out of nowhere. You don't expect it. It's so powerful. And I kind of... With that one, I kind of knew that I was going to do something special for episode 100. I thought I had to. And it was lining up well with like me getting a bit kind of... not weary, but kind of like bumping against Calamite too many times. Like I was like, this is going to line up. And I think if not for that, I probably would have gone 3 or 4 more episodes of Calamite before I gave up. I went to montage, but I thought, do you know what? I think this is time. It's perfect, and put together my Paddy's Dogma is what I called it in the end, and kind of tried to replicate the title sequence. I kind of replicated the logo as well with a bit of work, and that's quite fun. Again, really fun edit to put together. Of the 3, I think it's probably my least favourite, but only because I enjoyed the other 2 a bit more. They're a bit more personal, but I still liked doing that one as well. And that one, again, people liked it. And then I knew that I've got to do one for Manus. Like, at this point, it's like, I have to do one for Manus as well. And I just started thinking, like, right, what can I do? Like, what would fit well? And I thought, well, I've done, like, anime. I've done, like, some, like, metal, almost. Like, what haven't I done? What's grand? Like, orchestral. There's an idea. And I spent, like, a good evening... just on YouTube, like just googling like powerful classical music, loud classical music. I almost ended up putting it to the 1812 with the cannons, but the full version was like 15 minutes long. I don't think I could have fitted it. Like I don't think I could have made 15 minutes of that. But I found it was the Night at Ball. No, not that. That's not the one. what did I use? Hall of the Mountain King. The Alton Towers music for everybody from England. I thought, that's good, I like that, but it's only about 3 minutes. Like, what else can I do? And I thought, well, I'm going to have a lot of deaths. And one time I'd recorded the footage, I had a lot of deaths. And again, I was just diddling around and I thought, ooh, fight the bumblebees. Ooh, that works. I can speed the footage up, I can dash through, and I can show everyone all the fails in a quick, fun way. And some of the feedback I've had on that has been really, really nice. Like, Jeremy and Autumn said they were glued to the screen. Autumn said she had to tell Jeremy to shut the fuck up because she was watching the video.
What a gal.
What a gal. Thanks, Autumn. And yeah, that was nice to hear. But again, people seem to enjoy that. And like I say, the edit I did for Manus is probably the most frantic, fucking exhausting edit I've ever done. I finished doing that video. It took about 2 hours to cut the whole thing together. 2 to 3 hours. I finished cutting that video and I couldn't even talk. I was broken because that music is so like ba 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 ba, and it gets faster and faster and faster until the end it's like da 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 da. I was exhausted because like good classical music like does affect you, like it does stir your blood. It makes you kind of pumped up, and like every time I was replaying it, like the blood goes up again when it starts getting faster. And I just like finished it, closed it down, played it once to watch it down, and I kind of stood up for the computer like I need to go to bed. And this was like 10 o'clock. Like, this was not late for me. I'm like, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I can't look at this anymore. It's tiring. I tried to make it kind of cut on the beat each time, and because it gets faster, the cuts get shorter and shorter and choppier and choppier. And I think that one of the three is probably my favourite, just because of the crescendo and the way it's synced up as well. Like, and completely by accident. There's a bit near the end where the music kind of goes da da, and then goes back to it again. And they synced up perfectly with me popping off that silver pendant. Without trying, it just lined up when I was cutting it down, like, oh, that's worked. And the next one, that's worked as well. And yet, just genuinely chuffed at how well and how almost easy it was to put together.
Oh, sweet.
And I know that if I do anything like this in the future, like, you know, me and Laura have set hard and fast rules, like, on any future one broing or any future video series, is if I get stuck on a boss for 4 or 5 episodes, we cut to something stupid. To keep it moving, and what that may be, I don't know. We may do some more in the future. I don't know, but you know, watch this space. Maybe we'll see. But we've not finished One Bro yet. You know, I'm still buried deep within Dick Week right now with Jeremy, and that's been the absolute best. Soul Level 1, like PvP and like racing stuff in the high level areas is just the dumbest and the most fun. We had some fights which were really good, but we'd also done some races, and they're going up at the moment. Racing through Oolaseal with nothing but a Chloranthy ring and a grass crest shield has been just the stupidest, most fun time. Because we set up all these plans, like, right, we're going to start here, we're going to run down, past all the, like, the town bit, go across the bridge where the Mimic is, go down the little staircase, run across the other bridge, go through the big warehouse, and go to the bottom lift to take us back up to the town bit. Like, that's going to be our loop. We didn't even get a third of the way. We put all these fucking plans together. Not even close. Not even fucking close. But just had a stupid time doing it, to the point where, and I'm saying this right goddamn now, right? Dark Souls Remastered, if you are listening to this and you are interested, not even on a real character, make a fucking one bro. Do a one bro, right? Listener does a one bro. Insert your name where I said listener, right? and get yourself, and I think probably we're going to give it a bit, so I'm not going to do it straight away. I'm going to let people play first, but I'm definitely going to start a one bro up, and we'll get to a point, maybe 4 or 5 levels in, maybe we'll get to Sen's Fortress. That could be a fun one. And we'll do a racing week, and we'll see who can like get through Sen's Fortress the fastest without dying. I think that could be fucking hilarious. Like, because that's of all the levels, that is an obstacle course. Like, that is a skill challenge, and I think that's probably the earliest one. I think that's got the most silly, like, funny to watch. I think as well run, and the fact that we can have up to 4 friendly phantoms at a time is brilliant, because we can have some goddamn foot races, and we are doing it. I don't care how we make it happen, it is happening. Jeremy's all in as well. Like, we had so much fun doing the races. I think it's a given that it's happening again, because we didn't have that many levels we could have done, because he had his cheaty save and I'd killed most of my levels. So to be able to kind of do that, I think we need characters at that point in the game, because if a boss is there, you can't summon. So there's going to be some coordination needed, and it's not going to happen a month or two after the game comes out, so it won't be quick, but we are absolutely doing a race week. Listener-sponsored race week. And you're all invited, because it was brilliant. So yeah, and then, like I say, Dick Week's still happening, and then after that, it's just Gwyn. And then I've done it. And then I will become One Bro Prime. And I cannot believe I'm here. I didn't think I'd be able to finish it.
Because I think it's sort of re-energised you and your love of Souls. Because I mentioned like a few episodes back how my journey of sort of falling away from the games and then rediscovering them and stuff, and you were still on the outskirts of that.
I was on the low point of the change curve.
But yeah, and I think that's factored into not just you having as much fun playing it as you have, but the creativity and the video stuff, but also how that's come around to just the sheer amount of joy we had on Scholar the other night.
God, yeah,
because it was super fun, and I'm now crazy looking forward to like more Team Panther Punch You, because we've not done that in a while, and we're on the cusp of.
We are very close.
I think we've tagged that bonfire just before
we're
it.
Fucking close. I look forward to bringing my, shall we say, what was that new nickname you came up with for me?
I go on.
You called me this, and I was so happy. I wasn't even angry. You called me Paddy Below Par Dust.
Oh yeah, Saddy Below Par Dust.
I didn't catch the Saddy. The Below Par Dust was the bit that stuck out. It was such a good one. I wasn't even angry. Normally I'd be pissed off with a nickname like that, but it was so fun. I was like, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I can't believe that's taken 5 years.
Grin. So yeah, the final little bit, which is just like a little something that happened on Twitter, with Sanadiskay was on Twitter, and he had put on a piece asking about the validity of some pre-release artwork for Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
I remembered these going up on the Polygon forums when we met.
I remember that. Yeah, I saw you talking about this. Yeah, carry on. Yeah. I remember this. And carry on.
In particular, there was one of a ship marooned and sort of wedged between two sort of mountainous giant rocks. None of these made it into the art book. So I asked our friend Sean McElroy, who was the moderator on the forums at the time, as to what happened. I recall the thread being pulled or the images coming down, and there was a fuss around it. Sean pulled up the archive, recalling that the artist thought it was okay to post them as they'd been purchased by From, but From sued him over it. There are some great pieces there, and I wonder how many of them were discarded as something that maybe wouldn't make a fun level. Like that one piece in particular I've spoken before about from the second design works, but maybe they just collated loads and loads of artwork and just went like that. They picked out their favourites and then did what they wanted to. But I don't know if he's going to do a vid on it or follow it through. But
the one I remember was that boat sitting on top of a pair of mountains or something, wasn't it? Or sitting on top of a mountain. Yeah, that's the one I remember. That was
the one. Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, we shall see. And Minty Christ did a feature on some of the comparisons between certain pieces of artwork there and the real world and other artists.
And Minty's a great boy. Yeah. I've met him in real life. When our friend Sean got married, he came over from America Land for the wedding, so I got to hang out with Minty for a weekend. He was great.
But yeah, that's everything. A chunky old
That's
show.
A lot, isn't it? And how much of that was the remaster? Probably 20 minutes?
A little bit.
Hey!
This is what happens. But next time the remaster should be out, so we'll give you an outro on that.
No, we're not. We're just going to talk about Scholar for 3 hours again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Welcome to Twin Contrary Manatees.
This is my fault. I've infected
you. It's happened.
See you next time, lovely school.
Bye, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho! It's me, fact-checking Satan. Apparently, Shadows Die Twice is not going to be an exclusive. Also, there are rumblings that it may be on the Bethesda show. Rumours remind me of snow. which reminds me of cocaine. Merry 3, my little devils,